This is the first time that we have seen a Dreamliner crash. Boeing's newest plane, supposed to be one of the most impossible for anything to go wrong. And yeah, as we watch on the screen, it fall out of the sky right after takeoff. And you can see the footage there. This is new footage just coming out that everyone needs to see, because if you look at the bottom there, under this massive cloud of smoke, you see 5 trucks parked there. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean something ominous on its own, but there's also something that looks weird, some piece of equipment next to it. And just the fact that this happened alone, when it's supposed to be impossible for the Boeing Dreamliners to crash, means there was something else going on here. I believe that inside those trucks was some sort of equipment that was used to make the plane go down. Is that a crazy conspiracy theory?
That's crazy. That is the craziest conspiracy theory.
So this plane has a black box on it.
It does.
One of the most sophisticated in the world. More than 200 different sensors. It can tell you every single thing about the plane. It can tell you about the flaps. It can tell you about if every single system was working. And we did see what looked to be an emergency dump, an emergency system being used at the beginning. We can go into detail on that as we get into the show. But this has to be something else. Can it really be pilot error?
No.
In this scenario?
No, it's definitely not pilot error. But let's go back for a minute and remember that you had whistleblowers for Boeing. This is just over the last couple of years, prior to President Trump coming into office, of Boeing cutting corners that was directly related to doors flying off of airplanes. I mean, there's just a lot of quality control issues that Boeing's been dealing with. It led to the removal of the CEO of Boeing, and we don't know yet. We know it was a newer Boeing Dreamliner.
And the other ones that crashed were the 737s that didn't have the sophisticated technology. Basically, it would make the nose cone go down to the ground. The pilot would try to go up. So it was an error of the system. This is completely different. That's not possible in this plane.
Well, so my wife is an aeronautical engineer and a pilot, commercial pilot. And so I'm just going to, I want to point this out, because there's more to this. There's no accountability in how things are developed with big corporations. They just get away with a lot of different things. But this is just as of April 7th, where the CEO was grilled by U.S. senators. On Wednesday, the CEO of Boeing acknowledged a lax safety culture existed at the aircraft manufacturer, but denied workers on Boeing's factory floor were being pressed to speed up lagging production. So the Boeing CEO, Kelly Ortberg, who was appointed to his post just last August, appeared before Senate Commerce Committee on Capitol Hill. The hearings, titled Safety First, Restoring Boeing's Status as a Great American Manufacturer, focused on the steps the company has taken to address production deficiencies and safety issues that led to the door plug blowout incident of an Alaska Airlines 737 MAX 9 jet in January of last year. So in January of 2024, remember when the door blew out and mid-flight?
Yep.
Scary deal for everyone to deal with. That was just last January, and we had whistleblowers that came forward. Paula, do we have anything on the whistleblowers specifically? And the reason why this is important is because this Dreamliner is a relatively new aircraft.
A few years ago. Yep.
Yeah. So you're talking about a plane that it couldn't have been that old. And we're now hearing about the laxed safety protocols at Boeing, and the whistleblowers were directly talking about the fact that they were putting parts in there they knew would fail into Boeing planes on purpose. Now, that whistleblower was doing a deposition in this case when he went after Boeing, and they found him shot to death, that he committed suicide on himself in the middle of a deposition. Like, so he's testifying, and upon testifying, he went back, got in his truck, shot himself in between going back to the courthouse.
Wow.
Do you believe that?
I saw that. And
yeah,
it's one of the craziest stories that we've seen so far. And with this plane, by the way, the flaps were not extended according to the video. It's hard to see, it's a little blurry, but it looks like those flaps are not extended. And we also know that the pilot, within that short period of time the plane was in the air, was able to get off a distress call.
A mayday.
They knew something was wrong with that plane from the second they took off. There's not enough time while they're falling. They knew already the engine, something was not working. It seems to be an engine failure on a plane that's supposed to be uncrashable.
All right, so this gets to whistleblowers, and I'm a firm believer of this. I think we should we should explore this just a little bit. Put that back up if you would, Apollo, please. This is John Barnett. He was found dead only 2 months after this. This is on March 11, 2024. A Boeing employee known for raising concerns about the firm's production standards has been found dead in the U.S. John Burnett worked for Boeing for more than 30 years, but before retiring in 2017. In the days before his death, he had given evidence in a whistleblower lawsuit against the company. Boeing said it was saddened to hear of Mr. Barnett's passing. Charleston County coroner confirmed the death to BBC on Monday. Now check this out. You ready?
Ready.
It said the 62-year-old had died from a self-inflicted wound on the 9th of March, 2 days before this, and police were investigating. Mr. Barnett had worked for the U.S. plane giant for 3 decades until his retirement in 2017 on health grounds. And from 2010, he was employed as a quality manager at the North Charleston plant. The facility builds the facility builds the 787 Dreamliner, a state-of-the-art airliner used mainly on long-haul routes. So he was a whistleblower, and he was building them, and he supposedly committed suicide. He Epsteined himself. He said he uncovered serious problems with the oxygen system, which could mean 1 in 4 breathing masks would not work properly in an emergency. He said soon after starting work in South Carolina, he became concerned for the push to get new aircraft built meant the assembly process was rushed and safety was compromised, something the company denied. So you can take this down. This is crazy because he's talking about what we're talking about now. He was building the 787 Dreamliner. His job was to inspect the quality. He was investigating and was testifying on behalf of whistleblowers. And here we're talking about a 787 that went down, Dreamliner, just a few years later.
Will there be more?
Yes.
How safe are these planes really? And we know Boeing, DEI, all that stuff, that's an easy talking point. But we also know they're deeply involved in the military-industrial complex. They're deeply involved in lobbying when it comes to the most powerful governments on earth, U.S. and other. And they're doing that for protection. They're doing that to continue filling up their bank accounts. They're doing that so that when this happens, the U.S. government still has contracts that they have to fulfill with Boeing. There's no other competition that can be allowed to go in with the military stuff Boeing does, as well as the commercial stuff. It's terrifying, the level of power that this company has, considering how incompetent, inept, and evil they are at the core.
Well, I think this is one of the core reasons why they're revamping federal contract rules going into 2025, which will give opportunities for smaller businesses that can be more agile and move quicker to get things done, why that's so important. So we're going to talk more about this, which is super important. We're also going to talk about President Trump, some of the deals and press conferences that he's having, and his bombshell revelations, which I think we have to get to some of the things that he's saying. It's unbelievable. And then we're going to be talking about the riots, which are coming up in less than 2 days. And we'll go through that and more and today on Untamed.
Take 2. Cut.
Take 2.
Cut.
I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Right, follow me with this.
But they've been using their power to obstruct and stop justice from taking place.
You want to pray us out?
I do.
We'll pray for Tina. And let's have conversations about what truth is. All right, before we get into it, can we be a little funny?
Yeah, we need to lighten the mood a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people died in the last 24 hours over a terrible incident. Only one person survived. We're going to talk about that. But why don't we lighten the mood first? Show something funny, and then go into that. Was that what you're thinking, Joe? Is that good timing?
This is a little, how would we say it? it's a little funny because of what this person is testifying to. So Amy Klobuchar, one of my not so favorite people, mentally retarded, not so bright, was talking about how she was in Congress, and that, the thing with the radical left is that they want to create a thing where they say somewhere along the line we're trying to take something from the poorest among us. So they got to hear from this woman called Felicia. Now, Felicia is a single mom of 4 who worked up to 3 jobs at a time to make ends meet. She counts on SNAP's food program, to help put food on the table. This is who Republicans in Congress are trying to take food away from.
Oh, no.
Listen to her story. So go ahead and let's play her video.
She, by the way, if you're wondering what happened,
mom of 4 who are ages 21, 17, 12, and 11. I would like to tell you my story on how SNAP benefit has helped me. Sorry.
Go ahead. You're doing good.
well, are you trying to make us on our side? This is
21 years ago. I was working 3 jobs. One job.
That was 21 years ago.
I kind of like her. I mean, yeah, she's
another
a little,
one to pay food.
3 jobs,
Which wasn't enough.
I kind of like her.
And
I kind of
one
like her.
bill or one to pay the bills, and I still struggled a lot. Moving forward, I am now working a full-time job as a bus monitor, and I'm a driver who transports students to specialized schools in Kansas City. As an employee of the school district, I only get paid once a month. By the time I get my bills paid, I have nothing left to pay for food and other basic needs. If it wasn't for SNAP benefits, I wouldn't be able to feed my children nor myself. I work, pay my bills, and like every other mom, I want to be sure that I have enough food to put on the table.
All right. So let me tell you what the funny part is. You ready? I feel for her.
I was expecting it to be some, feminist, and she was like, "Yeah, I work hard, take care of my." All right, that's fair enough. Like that's who SNAP benefits are for. Even though maybe probably shouldn't be used on candy and soda.
Probably not.
Probably not.
She probably is not getting the. And this just gets to the irony of what we're talking about, is that obesity in this country is off the charts. It's off the charts. And although I like my ice cream sandwiches, I do like my ice cream sandwiches. She's reading a script somebody gave her. And this is the problem with you. Here's SNAP benefits. You want to take that away, which they don't want to take it away. But what is SNAP benefits doing for that woman?
Not a lot of good things.
She's over 400 pounds.
And it's not entirely her fault either. As you know, I know you agree with me on this. They're poisoning us in our food. They're soda commercials the number one thing you see on TV.
And she never walked past the candy bar. She never walked past it. Never. Not one. She got every single candy bar that she could get on her SNAP, she got it. But that's not even the point. The point is that if the poster child for America and the programs that we put out there to help people are going to kill this woman before she's 60, she'll be dead before she's 60.
We have to ban poisonous food. In my opinion, we should also ban soda companies from doing advertisements too. We should ban you from buying terrible stuff for your body using government benefits. First of all, that's a common sense thing. That's to help her, not to hurt her. And
how about this? You can only get fruits and vegetables and meat with SNAP benefits. That's it.
Maybe bread.
Okay, yeah. Bread. I relent.
The
bread.
Milk, bread. Yeah.
But maybe bread that doesn't have high degrees of other stuff that's just put in it. This what you talk about, poison. And but they use this poster child and say, hey, look, worked up to 3 jobs. They left out the part that was 21 years ago.
Wow.
And her story, though, and again, I want to get to the irony of all of it. So I work my job and I have my money, and at the end of the month, I have no money to pay my bills or do anything else after I pay my bills. Do you know that's the plight of 80% of America? 80% of America lives the way this woman lives.
It's tough.
80%. 80% of the
Is
country.
she a single mom?
She's a single mom of 4 kids. I
wonder
I don't
who
know if the
her-
single part is, but
So
yeah, a single mom. Yeah, she's a single mom of 4. But I mean, my issue is this: we perpetuate exactly what we're dealing with right now, and this is a larger symbol of all the other things that we deal with. Is that somewhere along the line we have to just say, let's just throw a couple dollars. Let's throw peanuts at her. She ate every peanut. Let's throw the peanuts at her. Well, at the same time, trying to say that we're here to help you. How are you going to help a woman that she will not live past she's 60 based on her current health condition? You agree?
Of course not. And by the way, we're up to 3,000 people watching right now. So there's a lot of people who are coming in. And so if you're joining for the first time, this is a show that we put a lot of work and effort into. A lot of research goes into. We have an incredible team back there. I want to go ahead and say that at the beginning because I don't want to say it too much else in the rest of the show because it is a very, very bleak show. And, we can have some fun talking about that and what we're going to do. But
yeah, I just think that we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff with President Trump and everything else.
we are.
But at the end of the day, it's the things that we don't talk about, that we walk past, that the everyday person has the biggest problem with. And politicians talk about stuff that are high level, that everyone thinks that people care about, and they don't. But there's a lot of suffering happening in this country and the things that we go through, and we're like the useful idiots. We're left to our own devices. And yeah, I'd love to help her, but then why do we let major corporations come in and feed her poison and do the things to her and other people in our community? Stuff that it's over 50% of the food product that we have in the United States, you could not buy in Europe. You could not buy in many countries because it literally is known to be poison.
Yeah, it's awful. And
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people I think are tuning into to see some updates on the plane crash. I do want to get to that quickly because there was one individual who survived this plane crash somehow. Now that says a lot more than people are even reading into so far. Do we have the clip, Apollo, of the guy who's walking after the plane crash? He walked away from it. All of the other 241 out of 242 people on board lost their lives. One man who was sitting in row 11 at the window seat was somehow able to walk away from this. There he is right there. So that's him. He did go to the hospital, but he's walking away with nothing but some burns on his face. Clearly has a limp. He's totally fine. He's going to make a full recovery. That's unbelievable. That doesn't make any logical sense.
God was looking out for him.
God was protecting him. And by the way, his brother did lose his life in
He
this.
sat next to him, yeah.
His brother was sitting next to him. His family members have already talked about this. This was a flight that was going from India, a rural place in India. It's not a huge city, so it's mostly relatively rural Indian individuals. There were 2 people who were there on a trip from the UK that seemed to be doing some sort of exploration and business stuff there. And there were also 50 other UK nationals that were on the plane. There were no Americans we know so far. But this is a group of people, and you can see. So these pictures coming out are insane. So it crashed into a hostel. You can see going into the area where the kitchen was, multiple people inside the building also losing their lives. And you see there. So
That's
I believe
the engine.
that's the engine. Yep. And the engine's still mostly intact. They were able to recover some of the phones and get some of the footage actually that we will be able to see. And I mean, it looks insane. That's not supposed to be possible for that to happen. And the fact that it did shows you that either Boeing and everything they're telling us about these planes are lies. The
Let's go ahead.
whistleblowers, right?
Yeah, let's does this one have sound for the Goodbye India?
Yeah, play the sound on that.
Let's play that one.
We are in the airport, just boarding. Goodbye, India.
Goodbye.
Thank
10-hour flight back to England.
Going back happily calm.
That's one of the guys that was on it.
Yep. And I want to put up this image. So the RAT, which is how it's referred to, the Air India B787 incident. Some viewers believe they hear a distinct sound of a ram air turbine deployed at the start of the crash video, the emergency hydraulic pump. I tend to agree. So if you want to listen to this, we can play the video too, and you can hear it better. But you can hear what appears to be the pump being activated, which suggests that they were having a fuel problem on the plane potentially, and that was what was causing the engines not to work. And so they were trying to do this pump. I don't know if that was the last ditch emergency effort, but it appears the real reason this plane crashed had something to do with the fuel being messed with. It could have very well been intentional, and if it wasn't intentional, this is one of the biggest, I guess, demonstrations of why we can't trust these companies, why we can't trust anything they're telling us. We can't trust them to build good planes. We can't trust them to keep the plane safe. It's a huge hit.
I think we have to talk. We have to talk specifically about the fact that Boeing is under investigation for cutting corners on the safety side, and so this could be directly correlated to that specifically. And it's hard to ignore. You can't walk away from it. You have a fairly new plane, and by the way, it killed 5 people on the ground. And the pictures that you're seeing of the rear tail on the plane hanging out the back of the deal, it hit a college.
So it was a hostel. I believe it may have been part of a college. So we don't have all the details, at least not being widely reported yet. But it hit somewhere where people were staying and living, and that had a food kitchen. So clearly a lot of people living there, maybe a college dorm, some sort of living situation that was there. And now all of these families are coming and trying to get the belongings. There's footage that came out showing them going through the wreckage and getting bags, phones, other things, collecting them back from their family members who are now no longer alive.
All right, you ready for this? This is Akash Vatsa. I was on the same damn flight 2 hours before it took off from AMD. I came in from Dell AMD. I noticed unusual things in the place. Made a video to tweet to Air India. I would want to give more details. Please contact me. Now this is really interesting. Let's go ahead and put it up.
Super important. So this gives you some insight into why the plane may have crashed. So you see that right there, and it's a Dreamliner. So this was him being excited about this.
We are almost about to taxi, but this AC is not working. Look at everyone, and it's so many people. They are using these magazines. AC is not working at all. And as usual, your TV screens are also not working. Neither this button for calling the cabin crew. Nothing is working. Nothing. Not even the light is working. See, is this what you are providing? And as usual, that is why Air India is considered as one of the worst airlines in the world. AC is still not working, and today it is very, very, very hot in Delhi.
So this was not the same plane though.
And it's a Dreamliner 787.
This was 2 hours before. He says it's a Dreamliner 787. Nothing works.
I'm sweating like hell. And we are here for the last 15 minutes. Nothing happening.
Is it starting to sound less crazy,
as
Joe?
Usual, the map.
The theory that they could have used some sort of jamming equipment and they were testing it out maybe nearby. I'm not necessarily even saying that they intentionally took the plane down. What I'm saying is they could have been using equipment that had some sort of impact on the plane, hopefully not intentionally.
Well, I mean, keep in mind
that those systems to be jammed.
It's run by a computer.
It is.
Any computer you can hack. Like I can hack cars.
And you don't even have to hack it. You can just disrupt its ability to communicate with other parts of the plane. So that's why I think that video may, in hindsight, once we learn more about this, end up being extremely significant. It could have been because of something that was being done within a short perimeter of the airport, hopefully not intentionally, like I said, that caused a malfunction of the computer system that caused that not to work when they landed. That I believe that is a video that he took on the plane flight before with the same plane. So he took the video.
Not the same plane, because he took off 2 hours before.
I think the
and
flight.
It's a 10-hour flight.
It appeared that he was saying in the post, let's look at that again. It appeared he was saying that was the plane that came in, and then the plane, when it was going out, was when it crashed. So he flew in on that plane, got off, and the other people boarded on. If that's not correct, either way, it's showing a clear level of incompetence. So there's what it says. I was on the same damn flight. So he's saying he was on the plane.
I don't know. I mean,
on the
maybe.
flight before. He's saying, cause, I mean, it makes sense. They landed, and he got off. The other people got on. They proceeded to take off, and so he was noticing things on the same exact plane that were wrong at that airport.
But they would have to have known. Then that means that they had information about the 787, and they decided to take off anyway.
And let's look at the other media that he's showing in there. So he has a picture of it, saying unusual things taking place. If you pull up that picture, Apollo, if you want to click on the picture. So look at that. So this is the plane itself. And I'm not necessarily pointing to any specific thing, but I think we all should look at this closely and see if we can notice anything. Is there anything in this picture that seems to be off? So the weather is the first thing I notice. It's not a nice day. Not a nice day. I mean, it's hot, cloudy day. I would imagine that's not going to impact the plane, though. It's not raining. And it doesn't necessarily look like anything specific is wrong, but I do see a couple things sticking up on the top, probably just normal parts of the plane. And then it does seem like the wing area there is a little bit, maybe not the best construction, maybe not the most well-rounded job. There seems to be some cracking or lines, probably normal. Probably that's not a big deal. But again, like I said, the more than 200 sensors on this highly sophisticated modern black box of this plane will literally tell us almost every single thing about it. Within the next 24 hours, we will know the reason that this happened. And we will either be proven right, or we are going to learn something much more scary. Because if it wasn't someone that caused this somehow, indirectly or directly.
I do think Boeing did. I think Boeing caused it.
Why do you think they caused it?
I think Boeing built the plane that they knew was substandard and cutting corners, and it led to the death of 246 people. In this case, it almost led to a high a depressurization of the plane in January of 2024. You obviously had whistleblowers that came forward. One mysteriously dies while he's actually testifying. I think this is an American brewed, American made problem because there's no accountability for any product. I mean, it's the same as the medical issues that we have in the country as well. You can't sue Big Pharma. You can't sue them for putting vaccines in people that are causing massive problems. We holistically have a problem in our country, and we're producing things that are allowing people to become victims to the system. So
someone said the door is backwards. I don't know if I noticed that. Is that?
It's not possible. It's not possible.
Yeah, someone commented that. And by the way, so we right now, if you're watching for the first time on Untamed, I think it's very important that we start to go away from the mainstream media, because if you listen to any of them, they're all getting paid by Boeing for the most part. They're getting paid by these big companies. Their CEO is friends with the CEO of the military industrial complex companies, including Boeing and others. So they're not going to give you the truth. They're not going to tell you what really happened with this plane. They will try to hide it. Most likely, this black box is going to be taken probably to the United States. It'll probably be looked over by Boeing at the first glance, and other agencies are involved as well. They're going to have to be fully transparent here. That's the way the law works, especially with international flights. India will have access to it. Possibly the UK will have access to it. So they can't fully hide this, but they're going to try to cover it up, I'm sure, if there was something more than we're being told here. And so that's why you have to subscribe to this channel. You have to turn the notifications on, and you have to be making sure that you are only listening to sources who are not being paid by the people that we're reporting on. It's that simple. Joe and I haven't taken $1 from Boeing. We will never do that. We're not going to be on a board seat. We don't care. We will report the truth no matter what. And I think that's what's necessary right now, because people need to know what happened to their family members, and people need to know if they can feel safe getting in a Boeing plane. Can you feel safe going in a Dreamliner right now.
I mean, look, I fly all the time. I'm in the air a lot. So last year I did over 200 flights. So, I mean, this year, hopefully I only do 100 flights this year. But, you know what? Am I concerned about it? Yeah, I am. I'm just as concerned as I am about, you know, the safety ramifications of cars or, yeah, I'm concerned. But I also know that at some point, we've got to start holding these companies accountable. And the reality of it is that we're not going to get to the bottom of it because they're not going to let us. And I know that's kind of a crappy thing to say, but when is the last time someone's been arrested for doing something wrong to the American people? When? Ever?
Been a long time.
It's been a long time.
If you're part of a big company, you can do whatever you want pretty much and get away with it.
You know what, though? We do have a live sponsor that I want to talk about. It's that we created a deal with that can help everyone that's listening. And for anyone, is it over the age of 35? I think it's over the age of 35. There's an organization called AMAC. So we partnered with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to offer you a free 1-year membership just for being a part of the Untamed family. Now, if you've never heard of AMAC, they're a leading conservative alternative to the AARP. Thank goodness. Get rid of those guys. They fight for faith, family, and freedom in Washington, and they stand up for traditional American values. The same values we talk about on this show every single week. Now, as a member, you get access to money-saving benefits, news you can trust, except news outside of us that you can trust, obviously, because you can trust us. A subscription to the AMAC magazine, and a chance to make your voice heard through their advocacy arm, AMAC Action. Best of all, this 1-year membership is absolutely free, courtesy of us. We're giving you this. No strings, no payment info, just good people standing together. So you can go to amac.us/untamed and sign up today. That's amac.us/untamed, UNTAMED. Membership is free and is waiting for you. This is one of those things we want to do to make sure we gave people a benefit. And frankly, I think it's going to be pretty great. You get discounts and a bunch of other stuff as well.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to sign up, and you should, because we need to be moving away from the evil companies and moving towards companies that share our values and can provide value back to us. So it's worth it. I mean, who's not going to take up a free membership for an entire year? At that point, you have to do it. So we'll put the link in the description as well as the top comment, and you can also find it based on what we just showed on the screen. So go back a little bit and you can see it. Everyone go sign up. Everyone needs to do that. And as we continue to get updates though about this plane crash, I think
you like the plane crash too.
I have to.
It makes me sad. It makes me sad because you know that there's going to be a cover up right after, and nobody's going to talk about holding people accountable the same way we don't talk about election companies and the really evil people that have done things to steal the voice of the American people institutionally.
This is not, by the way, the first significant plane crash that we've seen within the last year.
What am I looking at? What is this grok stuff?
Oh, it's just if you search, parts that are made by Chinese firms, there's a lot.
Oh, on the 787?
Yeah, a lot of these are 787, a lot of 737, 787, 747-8, 737, 87. But I mean, what? I don't know. It sticks out to me. Like, what are the FAA directors doing?
I mean, yeah, everyone's gonna get mad at me for saying it, but look, China's not our biggest problem. Our own institutional government is our problem. They're our problem. Like, our problem is the people that betray us every day, treat us like slaves. I just don't. I mean, the part can be made in Timbuktu, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. The people in Boeing put it together. The people in Boeing put those substandard parts into these in order to save money.
To save money, and because they know they can get away with it. They don't care. They don't care if a plane crashes. They're not worried about that. As long as their bottom dollar is hit, maybe they'll care for a day. And then by tomorrow, they're going to go back to their conference calls on how they can sell more planes. How can we cover this up in the best possible way? How can we have the media impact not cause us to lose contracts with our companies? That's all they're focused on. They're not focused. even though they have to help the families financially to some degree, they have to help them travel there. They have to give them resources, even counseling. They have to do that, but they're doing the bare minimum. They're not going to do more than that. They're going to try to fight any lawsuits extremely hard and make sure people aren't able to get any type of help after you lose a family member. They're going to, as they always are, act as evil as possible in the face of a mistake that they are responsible for.
Exxon Valdez took over 20 years for people. People died before they even, most of the people that filed, and Exxon Valdez, by the way, is up in Alaska, and it was an issue where they had a massive oil spill. It took over 20 years to get a verdict. And by the time they did, in today's dollars, it would have been a couple $100 million. But most of the people that filed that complaint were dead long before they ever got any sort of justice. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't.
And Trump is offering them help, by the way. So if we want to play A7, Trump is offering help to India, which India doesn't offer us help, by the way, really, almost ever.
I'm totally against what he's doing right now. Bad stuff happens to people all over the world. Why is it we got to be somebody's daddy? What are we going to give them?
Go ahead and play A7.
The plane crash was terrible. I've already told them anything we can do. It's a big country, a strong country. They'll handle it, I'm sure. But I let them know that anything we can do, we'll be over there immediately. But it was a horrific crash. It looks like most are gone. They actually maybe have a couple survivors, which is just heard. But that was a horrible crash. Nobody knows. Nobody has any idea what it might be. I gave him a couple of pointers. I said, maybe you'll look at this or that. You know, we saw the plane. It looked like it was flying pretty well. It didn't look like there was an explosion. It just looked like the engines maybe lost power. But boy, that is a terrible crash. It's one of the worst in aviation history. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, what he's talking about as far as help, let me just clarify that because I didn't see that clip, is the NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board. Anytime that there's an airline accident anywhere else, they're usually put on site immediately to look into it. There's other organizations in other countries as well, but the NTSB is probably the most prominent globally.
And it is an American company. It is made by Boeing, which has factories here, and it's not all.
Yes, they want to make sure it keeps everybody here safe as well.
Yeah, so that is also. I mean, we will say
that's the why.
If the plane was made in India, they probably would be more involved if something happened here. So that is why. That is the reason why. I don't think we've actually played footage of the crash yet. Should we show the footage of the crash?
Yeah. Let's play the footage of the crash. This is from the air. I think it's from the airport or from a building near the airport on the crash. Let's play it. I think it's 1, 2.
And we also have one. So I put on my X as well. I noticed a little bit of something weird on the camera. It was probably, hopefully not anything to do with the crash, but I put a little arrow on it and posted it. And here's my train of thought when it comes to these things. I want to review every single piece of footage. I never believe the main story. And I want to keep looking at it over and over and over until we see something that may have been out of the ordinary.
Right there. That's when they lost it.
Yep.
Right there. You can see where it just the tail pitched down and yeah.
Yeah, it's and there's another angle too that's really informative. So this one I think is probably the best angle that we have because it shows the amount of time it was in the air, it shows the takeoff, and you see so there's definitely a bit of a dust devil on the ground there. Not particularly concerned about that, but as it's going up, it just doesn't.
Right here, see where it's level flight and comes down.
Yep, it just loses
right
force.
There, it happened,
and just kind of glides down. And it looks way slower than it's moving. That is a fast moving plane. That's why. And so it kind of glides down, seemingly in slow motion, but it's not. It's going pretty fast. And when it does make impact, we see the explosion pop up almost immediately. And again, we're looking at this, and I'm wondering how is that guy sitting in row 11? He's in the middle of that.
Well, President Trump said there was multiple people that survived.
Who are the other people that survived? I want to know.
We just know the one person did. I mean, typically in crashes, it's people in the very back that survive or the very front. It's never people in the middle because you're right over the fuel tanks, and you become barbecued pretty quick.
I think 11 that's probably by the wing.
That's from the front.
Is that?
That'd be in the very front. That's first class.
That's close. I don't know if it's first class.
Yeah, 11's first class.
Because it's an international flight. That could be first class.
For sure.
That could be
Absolutely,
the
for
case. Can we put up Apollo? I want you to look at this. This is the map, the seating map of the plane that shows where the guy was. I put it in the main chat.
All right, business class.
So this shows where he was. It's
lays down.
right in front of the. Actually, no, it's not. It's one back from business class. So
Let me see it. In a 787? Come on.
yeah, look. Here's the map of the plane. So go ahead and put this up. That's the seat he's in. One back from business class. It's the emergency exit row, and it is right in front of the plane, right in front of the engine too, which is super crazy. The chances of him surviving in that spot seem almost impossible. And maybe we'll find out later he wasn't actually in that seat. He had switched seats or something, but that's where his designated seat was. Probably he was there. And it could also be that when the plane crushed together, there was able to be blast energy that went out.
Hold on a
of the
second. This is a
emergency exit.
787,
Yeah,
and this is the configuration?
that is the
Because
configuration.
I've been on a 787, and that's not the configuration.
Have you been on the Dreamliner?
I've been on a Dreamliner. That's not the configuration.
Well, I mean, this is also Air India, so each airline can do their own configuration. They can do their own seats. They can do their own
All right.
configuration.
I
So you
guess.
can. Not all 787s have the same configuration. It's customizable. You can do more first class, less first class. You can do your own color. You can pick what's on the back if you want to do a screen. So you get to customize it based on your airline. So that does check out. But he maybe somehow the wing protected him. I don't know. It just doesn't. I can't logically look at that and understand how he alone survived. But God has to have been. I mean, you can't do that without some sort of presence outside of Earth protecting you. That's really the only thing I can logically use to understand it. So Joe's pulling up another picture of a 787. Joe, you can customize it.
Yeah, I know you can customize it. I'm just telling you that
It's not normal.
it's totally not normal. Like I've been on a 787.
Have you been on a Air India 787?
No.
No, you don't. We're not going to India anytime soon. No, thank you. But did you?
All
Some
right.
of the comments are pretty brutal too. I saw someone said someone responded to the news story and said I was wondering why I didn't get any scam calls today. Dude. That, I mean, look, it's dark humor in a time of tragedy is actually, in my opinion, acceptable. But that's crazy.
Who said that?
That's crazy.
I'm admonishing you.
You're in big trouble. Some of the comments are brutal.
You know what I want you to do, because you're in the comments saying that? I want you to go to Best Buy right now and buy me a gift card. And I want you to call me and give me the gift card. The gift card number. That was being funny because everyone has gotten one of the calls that says, I need to get in your computer. And Apollo, did you get any calls today? There might be something to this. I'll ask you to go to Best Buy and get them a gift card. All right. So guess what? Getting past the tragedy of the plane crash.
And speaking of the tragedy of the plane crash, here's some more. No, I'm just kidding. We can move
No,
on.
no,
It's time. We can't talk about it all show. I mean,
I just want to talk about Trump now. I want to talk about President Trump. I want to talk about some of the things that he's doing. He's on fire. Not only is he on fire, but we're going to talk a little bit later about what he's doing in Colorado with the DOJ. And I think Colorado's in trouble. Everyone's in trouble because you're not going to be able to hide the election stuff any longer. You just can't, right? The cap is off. I think President Trump's going to get to the bottom of it. A lot of people are going to get arrested, or they should, and put to death for treason, frankly. But President Trump's on fire, and he's been nonstop doing deals and press conferences and doing posts. I mean, I'm talking, he's like bam, 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 over and over and over again. And now he's talking about Iran. And I'm going to tell you right now, just so we're clear, I'm out. I don't want to fight against Iran for Israel. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to. You want to be a big boy on campus and go do it. But I mean, I'm out. I don't want to do it. But man, President Trump had something to say yesterday about this, about the U.S. and the Middle East, and telling people to get out of that area. So here's what President Trump had to say with Melania yesterday.
Could you provide an update on Iran? We're hearing reports that U.S. personnel are being moved out of the region within striking distance.
Well, they are being moved out because it could be a dangerous place, and we'll see what happens. But they are been. We've given notice to move out, and we'll see what happens.
Is there anything that can be done to dial the temperature down in the region?
They can't have a nuclear weapon. Very simple. They can't have a nuclear weapon. We're not going to allow that.
I don't disagree with that.
They already have one, though. They already have nuclear technology.
Well, they have nuclear technology. They don't have a nuclear weapon.
They probably do.
But here's something that everyone probably is not aware of. There's more dirty bomb material that is in the black market today than you could even imagine. Like it's everywhere. I mean, if you want to, for nuclear proliferation around the world, it exists. They have the ability. There are people on our soil and other places that have access to dirty bombs right now in our country. So here's I don't know. I mean, I know that you have a difference of opinion of this, or you probably have a difference of opinion of this
about Iran.
Well, I mean,
we
look,
agree for the most part.
We keep going in there to different countries and killing millions of men, women, and children. Right? And it's never the people at the top. It's Ukraine. I mean, look at Ukraine. Is Zelensky dying? No, you have truckloads, 26,000 people that Russia's turning over, dead bodies, Ukrainian bodies that Russia's turning over. And that little midget gets on there. And you know what he does? He goes and says, oh, yeah, we don't want to be tricked. They might have given us 26,000, Russians. Well, why would somebody do that? Why would somebody do that? I mean, so the people in the countries are the ones that suffer. It's never the mullahs or the presidents or these people that are never elected. It's all this kabuki theater, CIA, Mossad, you name it. They're all out there creating this chaos. And the people that suffer are the people there. The people in Ukraine and in Iran don't want to have war with America or anywhere else. They don't. Any more than the people in America want to get into a foot soldier battle with people in another country. Do you? Do you want to have soldiers coming and enemies coming into our deal and having to shoot people on the street?
Yeah, I love putting my life at risk for useless hacks at the top who are getting paid in order to send me over there in a draft where I don't have a choice and I have to go or else I get arrested.
You still
like
could
in
go,
Ukraine.
by the way.
I said what?
You're draft age.
I am. Yeah, no, yeah. I can be drafted right now. I could be drafted. Can you be drafted?
No,
I don't think you can.
Oh, I wouldn't. Yeah, I would go for peace. For peace, I would use my wisdom to go over there for peacekeeping.
I'm not going. I'm not. I don't. I mean, I think it's the most disgusting, despicable thing on earth that these evil monsters, especially in the Israeli government, even in the U.S. government to a large extent, are so just cavalier. They're so unwilling to understand the seriousness of putting people's lives online. They don't seem to care at all. These are people who are clearly sociopaths that are in charge. Netanyahu thinks he can trick everyone, that he's better than everyone else. And they're funding so much of it already. They believe there's an existential threat to Israel, but they also have a doctrine that clearly states if something happens to Israel that's an existential threat, they're going to destroy it. They're going to destroy.
You're an anti-Semite.
Am I getting canceled?
You're a Jew hater.
I'm getting canceled, aren't I? Oh, dang it. I'm getting canceled again.
Put a black
anti-Semite isn't even a real. It's not even a real word. It's not.
Put a black square over.
Put a black square. Mute my mic. Black square for the rest of the show. For saying that.
We're in a black square. I promise you, he's trying to find you a black square right now.
No, I know.
Just put a rainbow over.
If Apollo doesn't put a black square over my face within the next couple minutes, then I can guarantee you he will consider himself a failure for the rest of the day. He'll find a way.
He'll find a way.
He'll find a way.
So here's my problem. It's not anti-Semitic to talk about what needs to be talked about. Okay? And you can't, there you go, you're a black squared. You can't have, he's even making the black square right on your head.
It's like the Black Mirror episode.
Hello? Can I see around it? But you can't have faithless.
Cancel Joe too. He's
no,
also.
You can't cancel.
Cancel Joe.
I've already been canceled. We had this conversation yesterday. People sending. Oh, I don't want to get into it because it'll break the. You can't have faithless, godless atheists saying that they are the arbiters of reality and that they know the difference between right and wrong, that are leading people into death and destruction, and say somewhere along the line, I can't actually say something about it. And the fact that you are not allowed to talk about it or debate it should be indication number one that these are not good people. We should be able to have a conversation. We should be able to, here's some knowledge for you. Over the last 8 years, 5 times the Israeli government has collapsed on itself because the people of Israel do not support the leadership. They are held hostage the same way we are in the United States by fraudulent, fake elections, and they're trying to do a consolidation now under their new constitution to make it more difficult for people to have a voice inside of Israel. So if you think it's just you think it's just us. No, it's this small group, this fraternity of evildoers, Mr. Black Square, that literally anti-Semite, that are doing really bad things. There, sorry, you got your Black Square's gone now. Oh no, it's back.
What? It's back. It's back forever. I'm changing my name to Black Square on X. I'm changing it from Matt Wallace to Black Square now.
You should do that just to be funny.
Yeah, it's because Joe. It's because I'm such a good person. I support Black Lives Matter. That's why. That's the real reason.
I'm about to throw up my mouth.
You don't support Black Lives Matter?
Hey, but what's up with that? President Trump does that too. He does this.
Oh right? Yeah, the fist in the air.
Yeah.
Remember when Trump do the?
We just got Black Square. The whole show got Black Square. Look at this.
It's okay. We have to stand in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, who's a great organization with
not gonna do it.
No fraud, no corruption, no mansion spot, just solid, good people trying to help others. So that's why we stay in solidarity.
No. So he just got Black Square again. All right. So we're just going to, it's going to be a censorship show today. President Trump was talking about the military, and he put something out on Truth. And he said this: I am more confident than ever in the days ahead and every generation to come. The U.S. Army will heap glory upon glory. You will summon inexhaustible courage. You will protect every inch of U.S. soil, and you will defend America to the ends of the earth. Anonymous. Go ahead and play it.
The life of a soldier is not just a job, it's a calling and a sacred tradition passed down from father to son, brother to sister, and one generation to the next. At every hour of danger, our noblest citizens have answered that call. Time and again, our enemies have learned that if you dare to threaten the American people, American soldier will chase you down, crush you, and cast you into oblivion. The last sound you ever hear will be the dueling howl of Black Hawks. Thunderous boom of artillery fire. The ferocious roar of a U.S. Army infantry brigade. For our adversaries, there's no greater fear than the United States Army. Now it's your duty to shield the flame of freedom that was first lit 250 years ago by the heroes of Concord Bridge and Bunker Hill. Standing before you today, I am more confident than ever that in the days ahead and every generation to come, the U.S. Army will heap glory upon glory. You will protect every inch of U.S. soil, and you will defend America to the ends of the earth.
Kind of awesome, but at the same time, it's hard to look at that anymore and not just see 50% profit for the elites flying over there, 50% profit for the elites driving over there, another war in Israel driving over there. It's just, it kind of runs it. It kind of ruined it for me learning the truth about that, even though it is undeniably awesome. I mean, how cool is that? But it's just hard. It's hard to appreciate it anymore.
Well, President Trump's also doing something else, which is pretty cool. And we saw some drones, by the way. First time in a AI-driven drone has beat a person in a competition, a drone competition, flying competition. That just happened, which means we're accelerating at the speed of light through technology. some really crazy stuff that we're doing here at Pydoxa now. But President Trump put this out. He just issued an executive order to accelerate domestic drone production, including flying cars for EMS, air taxis, cargo, and defense logistics. Let me tell you why this is so cool, is that this will allow us to, there'll be dollars that will go, again, to the smaller companies, as I was talking about before, that are able to move and be more agile and get away from the Boeings of the world. Because technology is moving so quickly, it should be very easy to get that cutting edge technology created right here in the United States. So he signed 3 executive orders to accelerate domestic drone production, secure our airspace, and position America to once again lead the world in supersonic technology. China last year had a supersonic missile that could get to the United States in under 30 minutes. That's a striking target in less than 30 minutes.
That's not that far off from the speed of light. I mean, it is a lot slower than the speed of light, but you're getting into the territory there. Light can go around Earth in a couple seconds, right? You're getting into the territory where this is so fast that it's almost unfathomable that humans have been able to create a weapon that can do that. I mean, how do you stop? You can stop it. There are ways, but it's really, really difficult, especially if they send a lot of them at once. You're going to have a hard time stopping that. And it's going to be mutual destruction because we also have the same level of technology, even better in some cases. A lot of it's hidden. The only outcome, if that starts, is that we basically all die.
Well, when you start building drones at the rate that they're building them, and you know that they're being weaponized in Ukraine, what is it? 1 in every 4 deaths in Ukraine is caused by a drone. 1 in 4 in Ukraine. So it's leading the way for you not to have any accountability in killing people. Well, it's just a matter of time till it's used against us as people. And that's my biggest problem, is that, so we're going to have drones that can be distributed very quickly, small drones, micro drones, that can cause damage. We talked about being able to shoot razor blades, the equivalent of razor blades, and basically just shoot razor blades rather than shoot bullets and cause real harm to people, and you didn't even know what happened.
That thing can fly so unbelievably fast. And with the AI, they could have a target set and you could be walking down the street and within a split second, you're dead. Just like that. It wouldn't even be difficult. They already have the technology. It already exists. They can do it tomorrow. They can do it today. We could walk outside right now and it could happen to us. And that's terrifying because imagine that being used, as it will, as our country becomes more inundated, more controlled, closer to China. Imagine that being used against anyone who speaks out for the truth. Imagine Boeing being able to take out their whistleblowers with even more ease.
Yeah.
What about the Epstein client list? I mean, this is terrifying. This is terrifying.
They've already said we're not going to get it. Now Cash went from, I'm going to call him Kardashian Cash. Right? Should I call him Cashdashian? Cashdashian? He's the one that said that Epstein wasn't, that he obviously did not kill himself. And now they've come up with this ability to find video they said didn't exist because those cameras were turned off. That leads me to President Trump. Remember a couple of days ago when I was talking about Russia being our ally in World War II and lost over 50 million people? He lost over 50 million people. And we talk about, the
single biggest casualty country was Russia.
Yeah. Over 50 million people.
China was second, actually, which is surprising, but that's true.
So, but he talked about, President Trump was talking about when he was talking to Putin. And here's the interesting part about it that I find fascinating. Russia was our ally in World War II. And ever since then, the powers to be, this power group inside of the United States, largely, this fraternity, has been looking to make Russia our enemy. And he said it, and I happened to speak with Putin at the time. Now, in all fairness to him, he lost 51 million people, and he did fight. Russia fought. Sort of interesting, isn't it, that he fought with us in World War II, and everybody hates him. And Germany and Japan, they're fine. So the two people that This is when you know evil has taken over. And this is what I say this because at some point, shouldn't we have a conversation about what's real and what isn't real? And whatever the propaganda is, history is written by the victors. So Germany killed all these people. Now all of a sudden they're okay. Japan, firebombed our Pearl Harbor. They're okay. And I'm okay with being okay with people. But how is it that the person that fought next to you, side by side with you, and it has a lot to do with the reality of truth. And if you've ever studied Russian history, if you went to Russia, it'd be a different perspective on World War II and who caused World War II to end. But here's what President Trump had to say. Let's go ahead and play it. This is him having a conversation with Putin.
It's very interesting. 3 weeks ago, it was the end of world anniversary, end of World War II. And I called France, and Macron, who's a good man, I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "We're celebrating World War II, our victory." I said, "Your victory? Your victory? Tell me about that." And then I called somebody else, and I happened to speak to President Putin at the time. Now, in all fairness to him, he lost 51 million people, and he did fight. Russia fought. Sort of interesting, isn't it? He fought with us in World War II, and everybody hates him. And Germany and Japan, they're fine. Someday somebody will explain that, but I like Germany and Japan too. But Putin is a little confused by that, He said, we lost 51 million people, and we were your ally. And now everybody hates Russia, and they love Germany and Japan. I said, let's explain that sometime, okay? But it's a strange world.
He's not wrong. One of the things that we talk about on this show is truth. And the truth is that Russia is not our enemy. And Ukraine is the useful idiot that's being used in a proxy war against Russia by people who want to create, for whatever reason, and it usually has to do with power and money. But the thing about Russians is that they're pretty matter of fact. They're pretty matter of fact. They'll just tell you straight out. They'll be like, listen, I'm just going to tell you how it's going to happen. They're very truthful people. Russians, man, they just don't. Look, they'll make you, when you do business with Russians, they'll make you pay more for it, but it won't because they're lying to you. It's because you're afraid they're going to shoot you in the face if you don't do the deal, right? I'm going to buy a house. You need to buy this house right now. Well, how much do you want for it? $400,000. Yeah, I only want to give you $300,000. You will pay $450,000 now. I'm not paying $450,000. I'll give you $350,000. You will pay me $500,000 now. By the time you're done, you're paying $450,000 just to get out of the room. But that's the reality of it is that Russia's not our enemy. They're not our enemy. And if you think Russia's your enemy, then you got beer goggles on. You need to stop looking at the media. Russia is not our enemy.
They're the most demographically similar country to us. 82% Christian, the same percent white, the same. They're of all the countries on earth in terms of religion and race, they are the most demographically similar to us. So the idea that the most similar country to us of any country is going to be our enemy is kind of ridiculous and makes no sense. How is it that Japan, and by the way, Japan's actually an awesome place. I love Japanese people, but
yeah, it's a pretty awesome place.
Japan's way nicer than India. We'll say it may be a bad episode for me to voice that opinion, but it's true. Japan's better in almost every single way than a lot of the other countries in Asia. It's an awesome place.
People don't like the fact we're talking about not supporting the faithless, godless Jews. People that just they're not okay with that.
Well, I still think we need to actually put up museums for all of the victims of the Bolsheviks, I
agree.
The Bolsheviks, if you don't know about that, it's become a popular thing to talk about recently because we have more free speech than we've ever had before. And we weren't allowed to talk about it before. But the Bolsheviks, which was primarily formerly Jewish atheists who had taken over as a regime within the territory of Russia, decided to slaughter millions of white Christians.
I would agree with that.
Some estimates as high as over 50 million people lost their lives systematically in that. And we don't have museums for them. We don't have anything to remember those souls who we should be paying attention to, who we should be giving love to. and showing respect for what they had to go through. But we don't talk about it enough.
No, we don't. I would agree with that.
We'll make a museum one day. We'll do that. Before I die, I'll make a museum. I'll do it.
First of all, we're going to have to remove all the faithless, godless individuals that are basically creating a fraternity first. And we're going to talk before the end of the show about a fraternity that we're thinking about, right? We even came up with an oath for that fraternity.
It's very serious.
It's very serious.
It's not something that you should join unless you are prepared to be part of it. That's
yeah. So we're going to tell you how you can join that. We're going to get into that, but the reality of it is that we need to find a way together to come together and to be a part of a group. We might even have our own tattoo. What do you think? We already have our own hat. We have a cool hat. Delta.
Yeah, we'll do.
We're like Project Delta.
One of those gay washable tattoos.
No, it's got to be real. It's got to have a real tattoo. Are you not into getting a tattoo? You hate needles.
I hate the idea of putting ink that will seep into my system and probably give me cancer, give me health problems. I hate tattoos. I mean, if you have tattoos,
you just got blacked out again. You got blacked out for saying no tattoos.
I think it's, look, if you want to get tattoos, go for it. It's probably fine.
What about a little tattoo?
Maybe a little tattoo.
Right,
maybe I'll get. If I agree, Paul, can I get unblocked if I agree to get a little tattoo? Is that will that be enough?
Only if it's a tramp stamp.
What?
only if you agree to get a tramp stamp, so we can talk about it in 50 years.
Paul's like, all right, I'm going to get a full sleeve done just because of that, Matt. Just for you, Matt. I'm getting a full sleeve later today.
So speaking of that, he just got blocked out. Apollo is actually working his speech into this podcast just based on disruption. Just block you out. Are you there, Apollo? Or
Why
just
are
there
you gay?
Wow.
You are gay.
Okay, President Trump is going to make exceptions to deportations for farmers. What do you think of that?
Ask Apollo what he thinks. I want to know what you think about that, Apollo.
He hasn't blacked us out yet, so that means he agrees.
He's turned on his camera, I think.
What is the question?
The question is, President Trump is considering making exceptions to deportation for farmers. What do you think of that?
I'm cool with that.
Are you cool with any other exceptions? Because I did this yesterday. Matt was like, "No, get rid of them all."
I am fine with other exceptions. I see. This is like, and I think it's not willful all the time, but I think we have a lack of maturity in talking about a lot of these issues. Like when we talk about Ukraine, Russia, it's the same thing. Israel, Hamas. Like you're either one side of the devil or you're the other side. So we talk about the mass deportations thing. The radical left side is they're all beautiful people and they all need to stay here because we're a nation of immigrants and it's not your land. But then on the conservative side,
it's not even conservative. It's like normal side.
It's not. It's the radical. It's the radical right. I mean, what it is the radical right. And then all of a sudden, you need to deport every single one of them and rip them out of the apartment houses, or you're failing the country. And I mean, it's just not realistic. I mean, there's like a human element and a point where you have to have some consideration for actual humanity, and that goes for the war, which Trump basically said that we're at. I mean, that video, like to me, that video was like a war cry. That was like a warning. Like the way I took that video that he played when he spoke at Fort Bragg. I mean, he's telling everyone we're at war right now. But again, like think of the timing. I mean, are we going to spend all of our resources internally to deport 20 million people, many of whom probably won't harm anybody? While we have China at the doors? I mean, no, but really.
To me, it is. I don't want to make decisions based on the system by which they use to take from us, right? Which is financial.
Yeah.
But I don't want people taking advantage of me either. I don't want people putting their hands in my pocket. I want my taxes to be 10% of my wages, period. Right? Just like a tithe. You get 10%. You make it work. Stop shooting shit at people. Stop killing people. Stop creating wars that we as people have to finance because you're moving chess pieces around on the table so they can take more resources. And it's very obvious. And so the whole immigration issue is, I don't actually want to hurt anybody. I think that they should probably fix their own countries, those countries too, because they're a raging mess. I think they should have courage there. They seem to come here, wave their flag there, but they ran away from there. Like they're waving a Mexican flag. Well, then go back. I don't want to go back. They'll kill me. No shit. Sorry, go back there. Grab your your Vatomobile. Go back down there and take care of the cartel. Oh, you don't want to do that. Okay, I get it. But at the same time, there are people, not just farmers, people all over the world, all over the country, that are doing great things. And I'm not sure I want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I just can't. I can't see it happen.
Well, and again, I think it's a balance between actually having a concern for humanity and not using that as an excuse to just allow people to stay here because of feelings. But there is also an expediency and a logistics issue too. I mean, again, we have people who are taking advantage. Yeah, you got to go. But there are also people who get caught up in that, especially when you think about some of these children and people who have been here who haven't been thrown in under NGO, operations and have been getting welfare for life for however many years. I mean, what's the utility?
Look, and part of my family, by the way, is that part of my family is institutional. I mean, I grew up with it. Institutional welfare, like it's a real thing in the inner city. It's a real thing. You do not think of yourself of having opportunity outside of that. It's not real. You go to the inner city, they'll still tell you, well, who wants to be a lawyer? Who wants to be, nobody wants to be a lawyer. Who wants to be a doctor? Who wants to be a pilot? Right? And they're like, we're not about that life. That's not even available to us. It's not even a real thing. So there is an institutionality to what we're talking about here. And so if you get rid of 20 million people, there's no one to fill the boat with. You're not going to put people in those positions. And many of these positions, I mean, farming, you won't.
You know what? After listening to these points, I think I'm ready to change my mind about absolutely nothing. Deport them all. Get them all. Get a big boat. Get the buses.
You just got your black box back. Your black box.
Deport them all.
You just got kicked out. Okay.
Well, I mean, can I give you like one example, just real briefly? I mean, I know, my family's been in the restaurant industry for a long time. We had people that worked for us for years. They were refugees from the Middle East, a lot of these countries, and they were very poor over there. They came in, they worked overtime like crazy. They had like their whole family living with them, not because they were trying to start a Somali pirate gang, because they had their whole family living with them, and they all worked to to feed all their kids, and they were saving up money to send back anything they could because they were dying of cancer or something, or they had they were seriously injured. And just to send back any money that they could for medical expenses. And they were trying for years to get their children to, get into the country and work on immigration issues and things like that. So it's like, not all these people come here to, like schmooze the system. Not all of them are those people who see the signs in Mexico that said, come get free healthcare. So, I mean, you don't have to say,
maybe. The free healthcare thing's a big deal.
No, it is.
I'm not excusing that. That's what I'm saying though, is that to say every single one of them needs to go and you need to kick them out ruthlessly because they're all no one's contributing. Like, okay, I mean, but I'm just going to tell you that's not the reality that I've seen.
But the bigger issue is that the U.S. goes in these places like Bill Gates and they pump full of vaccines and do all sorts of things, make them a human pincushion. I mean, there's no difference between what they're doing all over the world to indigenous people in different countries to what they did right here in the United States to, injecting syphilis into, black men. Right? It's a real problem. That we're creating the problem that we can't get under control, which is why people are coming here because they can't get the right treatments there. They can't get the opportunity there. But the reason why they can't get the opportunity there is because we're actually going there and destroying their society. Yep. We're going there. By the way, I.B. Bitter said this: we like Japan and Germany because we ruled them since World War II, occupied, and we were their army. We were in charge. We like the idea we're in charge. Nothing to do with them or history. There's something to what you're just saying. There's something to what you're saying, for sure.
There is. That's a good point. And also, I will clarify, Indian restaurant owners, obviously you're allowed to stay. If you have 4 stars or more, you can stay. If you have
big booty Latinas.
Yeah, the big booty Latinas, obviously, everyone, there's a consensus there.
Did we put that up yesterday?
I don't think we did. Did we play that? It was pretty.
No,
funny.
we didn't.
We
Yeah, well, we'll make exceptions. I mean, can we just deport all of the left wing immigrants? Can we just do that? Maybe that would be if we can do that first. That sounds like a good plan to me. Or anyone who has, if you're an immigrant and you brought your family here, even if you have legal citizenship status, if you're choosing to vote for that, I wish we could.
So you just want to kick people out just based on how they vote? Because I would like to deport more people that are Americans then, because there's plenty of those.
Yeah, that's why don't we just deport everyone who voted for Kamala Harris? We can deport all 80 million Joe Biden voters.
No, nobody. They don't exist.
Good luck with
rid
that.
of 20 million people.
Just like that. We just deported 20 million of them because they don't exist.
All right. What if I told you, and this is kind of a big deal. What if I told you that all of these stuff, this No Kings thing, we already know who they are, right? And now by the way, they're mad. They're in hiding. The people that started No Kings, they're hiding now. So they were really, really brave before, but now they're hiding, and they're saying they're getting threats. You're coming into the community and you're paying people to do harm to Americans. But here's something that I really want, Apollo. I just put it in the comments or the page. This is what's happening in Florida in preparation for what's going to happen on the 14th. Which, by the way, buy guns, buy ammo, buy guns, buy ammo, buy guns, buy ammo. 5 magazines. If you have a gun, go get more bullets. Make sure you have 5 magazines. Have 5 magazines. Go to the range, train, 5 magazines. If you're in Colorado, man, you better mount up because they're trying to have it all over, even in the red areas like Douglas County, Castle Rock, Parker. They're trying to disrupt children's events. There's a thing called Parker Days where it's a carnival. They're actually going to try and disrupt children with their antics in Parker. So if you get a chance, make sure that if you have your CCW, you stay stacked. You carry your gun everywhere you go. But this is in Florida. This is a sheriff of Broward County. And he has a message. Now, this is the same message, by the way, I think every American should have. Every one of them. Every American should say the same thing. And here's what he has to say.
This is great.
So I'm gonna break it down for you, all right? And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers that are being attacked, being spit on, being put in harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of law and order.
What did you think of that?
Imagine if the whole country was like that. And I will say as well, I don't think he skipped the donut day.
No, he didn't. I don't
think he did, but he's good. He's good to go.
He can do donut day every day if he talks like that. Come on now.
We'll literally
That's
fly
American.
a Boeing 787 full of donuts, a Dreamliner. We'll fly a Dreamliner full of
I might
donuts
do that.
directly to him if he can find a way to implement that countrywide. Please, imagine if in California the police officers said the same thing. Imagine if they said, "We're going to put you in the 6 feet down if you throw a brick at one of our officers. If you point a gun at us, you're not going to be waking up the next day." What do you think? What do you think the protesters would do if they talked like that? If they acted like that?
I mean, I think that we're getting to the place right now where they're more emboldened. They did what they did in 2022 or 2020. They did it again in 2022. 2025, they want the summer of love. They started at the same time. Same time. Make sure it's nice outside, put people in the streets, create civil unrest. What if I told you that Alexandro Orellana was arrested this morning by FBI Los Angeles on the allegation of conspiracy to commit civil disorders because he was the one that distributed all of the face shields to rioters on Tuesday. And so they're trying to arrest all those involved in organizing or supporting civil disorder in Los Angeles. Do you think it's going to get to the point where they arrest mayors and people that are in positions of trust?
Probably not.
I mean, they're all talking about using Signal and hiding their messages, which is illegal.
It should
be. It is illegal. You're supposed to, any correspondence you have, if you're a government official, has to be auditable. You have to be able to get access to it. But let's go ahead and play this. This is Mr. Orellana.
Describe where it just feels like something's going to happen and you're waiting for it to happen. And you can look around, you see the National Guard in front of the federal building, but as far as this intersection where we're seeing all this take place, there's no local police to be seen.
Yeah.
And we have people handing out masks and gas masks, and we just saw people graffitiing the sidewalk right in front of this truck, and we've seen people doing burnouts in the street. There's no local law enforcement around.
Let us clarify, because we've been showing a wide shot and from a different angle, a whole lot of officers on the other side of the federal building, almost behind you, and perhaps the visual is obstructed from your point of view. But I can tell you there are many, many, many LAPD cars and officers there that have staged. They are blocking that freeway overpass so protesters can't get on that overpass like they did yesterday and throw bricks or concrete or scooters down on law enforcement that was below that had cleared the 101 freeway. So perhaps they're not where you are, but there's a lot of them already positioned there. They're not getting caught off guard by a crowd gathered here.
So, I mean, that was quite a shot that we have there of these folks, and your photographer just gave us a great shot of the box that was left behind, which showed the brand of mask. I mean, it's not the kind of...
All right. So you have the Broward County Sheriff that said that if you step in front of a car, you stop someone from going, that they're going to run you over, right? Check out what DeSantis had to say.
And we also have a policy that if you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you. You don't have to sit there and just be a sitting duck and let the mob grab you out of your car and drag you through the streets. You have a right to defend yourself in Florida.
It's nice to see that Ruben was able to take a few minutes away from sleeping with his boyfriend to come and interview DeSantis. But well said. Well said.
Black square, please. Black square. And
then I was being nice. I was being. I'm just glad he was able to take a few minutes away.
Is that Scott?
Were they ripped two boys away from their mothers in order to adopt? In order to. Whatever. We don't.
What happened? What happened?
They adopted two boys, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's right. Ruben and his husband.
What?
Yeah, they always adopt boys. Have you noticed that? They never do they ever adopted girls? Greenwald, same thing. Adopted two boys,
and they are going to prison for the rest of their life.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it could. We're not necessarily implying that everyone who adopts boys, but I certainly am concerned that there's such a high rate of that. I wouldn't want to be a boy adopted to a family of two men. You don't have the motherly love. You don't get to actually be with your biological mother. That's impossible. Two men can't have a baby.
All right. So Seattle looks like LA. I think it's disgusting. I could go on a whole thing about this.
Yeah, we can.
I don't think they should. But the streets around the federal building in Seattle are controlled by rioters now. Let's take a look at this. They're actually burning things in the street right now. Go ahead, turn it up. I think that was a battery pack. So this is in Seattle. Seattle's kind of a bad place anyway, so they decided they're just going to burn stuff in the street. And then the DHS Secretary, Kristi Noem, was having a press conference, and California Senator Alex Padilla tried to interrupt. This, by the way, made my day. I'm going to make your day right now. It's totally going to make your day. Play it.
Guys, ready? And bell. Sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your hands off.
Bye.
On the ground. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you let my hands go and put them behind my back.
All right. Cool. One hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
This is making me smile so well. Just smiling.
There's no recording allowed out here.
That's awesome.
There's no recording allowed out here.
And I sidetracked a little bit, but that is also the DeSantis law, where you can officially run over protesters if they decide to surround your car. That's awesome too. That is a seriously good idea that should be.
Guess where you
nationwide.
can't do it?
California,
Colorado, California. I mean,
you have to just let them kill you and destroy your car. You don't have a choice.
Yeah, you do. Judged by 12 rather than carried by 6. So let's get into some good news and kind of wrap this out. Some stuff that is really great. You ready for this? 244 people arrested. 109 children were rescued in an online child exploitation sting in Texas. This is unbelievable. And they counted them all. Now, here's the thing that you'll see if you can get into the pictures. I don't know if you can get closer onto the pictures, but a vast majority of them were illegal. 240 people have been arrested. More than 100 children have been rescued following a month-long sting in Dallas, Texas. A joint announcement from the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Eastern District of Texas and North Texas Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force and the FBI in the Dallas Division, 244 people were arrested. 109 children were rescued during the operation. 109 children were arrested from sexual exploitation. 109. Operation Soteria Shield was a month-long operation that began in April. 70 law enforcement agencies, federal officials, they were focused on identifying and arresting individuals involved in the production, distribution, and possession of child sexual abuse material. 109 children were rescued. 109. One time, one day. How many of them do you think there are?
We know for a fact there's hundreds of thousands within our country right now. They're actively participating, and a huge percentage of them are illegally here. Logically speaking, it's not a crazy thing to understand. You're in a country like, let's say, for example, Guatemala. We can say any example in South America. You get charged with pedophilia crimes, or you're being investigated for them, or maybe they're just coming onto your case. Maybe you're worried about it. What are you going to do? You're going to say, okay, well, I either can stay here and maybe get arrested, maybe have to deal with being an outcast, or I can go to America, have a new identity. The crazy left-wing protesters will accept me and protest for me to stay. I'll get free government handouts. If I have a kid, they're a citizen.
Well, there's 20 million of them here, right? So, I mean, even if you have 10,000 in the street, that's a blink in the eye of the number of illegals that are here. And it's against, it serves their interest to get into the street. So you'll have a couple of like idiots, village idiots that are there, but most of these people that we're talking about are here illegally. And to rescue 109 children, I mean, how many? 300,000 children came across, but more than 300,000 children that are disappeared, gone, trafficked into the United States over a 4-year period of time. Nobody even lifted a finger, even when they found out that U.S. organizations were putting children with pedophiles and people that were an endangerment to their safety. Nothing happened. Even when the whistleblowers came forward, nothing happened. No matter where we turn, it's just we're run by a rotted system of bullshit. It just is. Total bullshit. You know what else is bullshit? CIA just released 1,000 pages on the RFK assassination. JFK. RFK? JFK. RFK.
The RFK, yeah, because he was also assassinated. If we'll remember, when he was running for president, they decided to take him out just like his brother, and arguably in an even worse way because it was more painful. But I mean, they're both equally gruesome. I take that back. But they killed both of them. And if he had won the presidency, I can guarantee you our country would look a lot different right now. Lyndon B. Johnson and RFK hated each other. You know that.
Yeah.
They hated each other. He would have stopped Israel from getting nuclear weapons, which they're now using to threaten the globe with.
But the CIA released stuff, 1,450 pages.
Yeah.
The release delivers on President Trump's commitment to maximum transparency, enabling the CIA to shine light on information that serves the public interest. CIA Director John Ratcliffe said in the release, "I'm proud to share our work on the incredible important topic with the American people." The files provide insight into the reasons that Saran, the Palestinian-born Jordanian citizen convicted of Kennedy's murder after the June 5th, 1968 shooting in Los Angeles. They include the gunman's psychological profile and handwritten notes. And they collected a psychological assessment on Sirhan on July 8th, 1968, stating under no circumstances would we have predicted that Sirhan was capable of doing what he did. Obviously, we cannot see him as a part of the conspiracy, the assessment also states. The part that bothers me is that we know the CIA was involved in murdering JFK. And now they're basically trying to take the high road and say that they're not involved. We know the CIA is involved in destroying the sovereignty of nations all over the world. I mean, that's what they've done. They've literally killed massive numbers of people with these black ops operations and gone into countries. And I mean, it's pandemonium what they've done.
It is. And RFK Jr., his son, is now fighting back against some of those systems, and not to the full extent that I would like to see. But at that time, if anyone really truly believed that random Palestinian guy who they just said in the report had not the mental capacity or motivation to carry that out, they didn't think he was capable of it, then what really happened? And probably he was threatened, he was forced to do it against his wishes, and he was made to do it. And it was a Palestinian on purpose because there's still conflict between Palestine and Israel at the time. And so that would be the ultimate scapegoat of all time. And now, as a result of what happened there, our country's in a drastically different position in our global standing than we would have been. Of course they killed him.
Yeah.
Most obvious thing ever.
1,000%. 1,000%. Guess who gets to pray us out today?
I believe it is your turn.
Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Right.
Yes.
I'll pray us out for sure. Hey, listen, everyone, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. You can pick us up on the audio version. If you're watching this on the BEK network, I want to thank you and say, if you missed the second hour or the first hour, depending on what they put up first, you can visit us at rumble.com, Untamed Nation, /Untamed Nation. I think it's Untamed Nation. Untamed?
Yeah, go to untamednation.com. You can see all the stuff there. Untamednation.com. Also, let's bring up again the sponsor of the show. Put up the link for everyone who, if you saw it earlier in the show and you didn't click on it yet, now's the time to do that as we're getting off the show. Go ahead and throw that back up there so everyone can get the free membership. I don't think it's going to be a free membership forever. So if you get it now, then you're locked in for the whole year.
It costs us. So we're doing it because we want to give our members something. But it's a 1-year membership just for being a part of the Untamed family. You can go there to amac.us/untamed. amac.us/untamed.
amac.us/untamed. Yep. Very easy.
You get all sorts of great products. I mean, you see you have like Avis on there, Budget, MyPillow, Papa John's. So you can eat bad food if you want. Is Papa John's good food or bad food?
Tastes pretty good. It's actually, they've gotten better. They have gotten better. It used to be really bad. Now it's a little bit better. It's solid.
All right, last thing I'll say before I pray us out is that we've been working on this oath, right? I'm not going to say that this is what the oath is, but I want your if you could just go in the comments, go to the comment section of Rumble, so not the live chat. Go to the comment section in Rumble, and let me know what you think. I'm going to read it to you. Okay, can I read this to him? So this is an oath for Untamed Americans, and I'm going to put my name in it, and so you understand what we're trying to accomplish. I, Joe Oltman, in the presence of Almighty God and my brothers and sisters, do solemnly swear to uphold the sacred principles of the Order of Untamed Americans. We haven't figured that one out yet. Bound by faith, honor, and an unyielding commitment to preserve the God-given liberties of our nation. I pledge my heart and soul to God, our Creator, seeking His guidance and strength to stand resolute against the radical leftist agenda that seeks to erode our moral foundation, subvert our freedoms, and divide our people. I vow to live by this code of honor, truth. I will speak and defend the truth, reject deceit and manipulation, for truth is the cornerstone of a just society. Courage. I will stand firm in the face of adversity, fearlessly opposing ideologies that threaten our republic and its sacred values. Integrity. I will act with righteousness, holding myself accountable to God and my brothers and sisters, never compromising my principles for convenience or gain. Unity. I will support my brothers and sisters in this fraternal order, forging bonds of loyalty and mutual respect, for together we are unbreakable. Duty. I will protect the heritage of America, its Constitution, its faith, and its people, serving as a guardian against tyranny in all its forms. Protection. I will safeguard my brothers and sisters of this order, standing as their shield and defender, ensuring their safety and strength in our shared mission. With God as my witness, I swear to fight with wisdom, resolve, and compassion to restore and preserve an America that honors Him, cherishes liberty, and upholds justice. I vow to protect my brothers and sisters as we stand united, untamed in our resolve, ready to sacrifice for one another and our cause. Should I falter, may God grant me the humility to seek forgiveness and the strength to rise again. This I swear on my sacred honor, so help me God. So go ahead and, yeah.
It's powerful. It is powerful. And when we really truly form a brotherhood, when we really have people, we know we have each other's back.
Yeah.
That's how real change is made. It's not made as individuals. It's not made from a show. It's made from people who agree and who respect each other and who want to fight for each other.
For what's right.
Come together for what's right.
And with ethical principles that you can stand next to. I think that's what we have to have. When you're in the military, you serve under an oath. You have an oath when you serve in the military. As Americans, we should have an oath. And that oath should be, it should be easy to follow and easy to stand up for our neighbors and easy to understand what those rights are. It doesn't say anything about your social justice, anything like that, because I don't care about that. What I care about is life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and that you're not grooming our children and doing bad things to our community. So there you go. Let's pray it out. Father God, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for giving us the ability to have a voice and for giving a voice to the voiceless. A place where people can actually come together and have conversations and dialogues about ideas. And Father, just look into what is happening in our community and around the world. Father, we ask for strength and endurance, the ability to withstand all of the just evil that we seem to face in our society today. Help us, Father, that we may have humility when we deal with others, that we may enter into spirited debate with differences of opinion, but that we may never give up ground when it comes to the basic ethics or morals, God, that you have put in front of us, that you have stated that these are the undebatable truths. Father, help us that we may stand together as one, set aside petty differences, and have grace for one another as we fight against and create a pathway to restore you to our community and to our country. And lastly, Father, I just ask a special blessing over Dave Bear. He goes into surgery tomorrow morning. And I just ask that you deliver him from this, You deliver him from this surgery and heal him, Father. I ask these things in Jesus' name, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
And I'll say one more thing before we get off. If you want to see the updates as they're in the title and the thumbnail, you can go back to the beginning of the show. The other thing to mention is if you listen to the 2 ad reads and you want to get your free membership, now would be the time. Scroll back a couple minutes. You can see the link there and you can go ahead and do that. There's nothing else in the show. So I would recommend going ahead and doing that now. With that said, I guess I'll go ahead and let you say the final thing, which will just be I'll see you tomorrow. I'm terrible at ending shows. I just want to keep going forever, honestly. Why don't we do a 24/7 live stream? So
Well,
you end it, Joe. I don't
we have some guests coming on.
That's pretty. That's actually perfect. That instead of having to end the show, Paul can just black it out and then we'll be done.
Yeah.
We don't have to say. I don't want to say goodbye.
We have some guests coming up, and we're going to talk about Mike Lindell's trial. We're going to get some people on that were at the trial, and we're going to continue to hammer on the election fraud. I'm going to get right back into that next week. So Monday there's a lot to talk about on Monday. Matt's going to go hang out with his family, so he's not going to be here. So I get to Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. When do you leave?
Yeah, you'll get to be for the next. It's not that long, but I think it'll be, and I'll still be able to call in.
Okay,
so I still will be on for some shows, but Joe will do a couple shows without me there next week, and we'll do a couple shows where I'm calling in. So it'll still be great. It'll still be great. We'll still post the links on X and everything, and we got a lot of big stuff that we're working on.
Yeah,
this is going to be one of the biggest movements in the country. People aren't prepared for what's coming,
and we want it in every city, in every part of the country. So it'll be good. All right, God bless you. We'll see you soon.
God bless.
The life of a soldier is not just a job, it's a calling and a sacred tradition passed down from father to son, brother to sister, and one generation to the next. At every hour of danger, our noblest citizens have answered that call. Time and again, our enemies have learned that if you dare to threaten the American people, American soldier will chase you down, crush you, and cast you into oblivion. The last sound you ever hear will be the dueling howl of Black Hawks. Thunderous boom of artillery fire. The ferocious roar of a U.S. Army infantry brigade. For our adversaries, there's no greater fear than the United States Army. Now it's your duty to shield the flame of freedom that was first lit 250 years ago by the heroes of Concord Bridge and Bunker Hill. Standing before you today, I am more confident than ever that in the days ahead and every generation to come, the U.S. Army will heap glory upon glory. You will protect every inch of U.S. soil, and you will defend America to the ends of the earth.